You may have heard of fishing off a dock, but have you heard of birding off a dock? Hello everyone. So this weekend we took a trip north on Vancouver Island to Port McNeil. I've never been here before, but it was a great opportunity to check out the harbor. Birding in a harbor gives you access to deep water habitats without being on a boat, and it allows you to see some more marine deep water species. At this time of year, there's a lot of different seabirds that are overwintering in the area, and I hope to see some today. Hope you enjoy the video. Let's see some cool birds.
There's a loon there.
I decided to make this video when we stopped for lunch in Port McNeil. While eating at a picnic table at this harbor park, I saw a loon swim by not far from the shore. I've had some close encounters with loons before. I took this shot of a common loon in its breeding plumage at Algonquin Park from a canoe. But most times I've seen them overwintering on the coast, they have been pretty far out in the ocean. Seeing a few loons so close in the harbor, I scarfed down the rest of my sandwich and quickly set up my camera. They might be less showy at this time of year, but they are still an impressive beast. Loons are big, reaching over 90 centimeters or 3 feet in length and weighing up to 8 kilograms or 17 pounds. That's chonky for a bird that can fly. Now I have to be careful with my identification because there are other similar loons in these waters. Outside the breeding season, the common loon has a zigzag in the white and dark plumage on its neck, which helps distinguish it from the Pacific loon. Common loons overwinter along both the Atlantic and Pacific coasts of North America. Going from living in freshwater to living in ocean water, one adaptation helping loons to make that switch is a salt gland, which helps these birds excrete extra salt. This gland, which functions much like a kidney, is located above its eyes, but the salt it collects actually drains through their nostrils. Gesundheit. Is this why the loon kept dipping its bill in the water? Without this ability, loons would essentially die of thirst, becoming pruned loons. The loon spent much of its time preening. Loons have a gland at the base of their tail that secretes oil. During preening, they spread this oil around their body. This helps to keep their feathers waterproof and aligned in the right position. Feeling a tad voyeuristic watching the loon have a bath, I kept walking. Not far along, I noticed another loon that looked a bit different. It had a yellowish bill, a light brown head, and a scaly looking back. It was a yellow-billed loon, a species I had never before seen. Lifer! A lifer is when you see a bird species for the first time. My birding guru taught me you have to high five when you see a lifer, so maybe a like on this video? It too is bathing and preening in the shelter of the harbor. The loons were not the only bird species I saw overwintering in the harbor. There are also these redneck grebes. They sort of resemble a loon on a smaller scale. There are 22 species of grebe across 6 genera. They are found in aquatic habitats and dive for prey. I'm pretty familiar with the redneck grebe from the prairies, where they breed on wetlands with open water. Here is one I photographed on a stormwater pond in Calgary. You can see its redneck. But this was the first time I've ever seen one in its non-breeding plumage, and it was also a New Year bird. In the winter, redneck grebe mainly eat fish, but also target crustaceans. In addition to North America, they are also found in Europe and Asia as well. It's always interesting to me thinking of how some bird species are found across the northern hemisphere while others are not. Biogeography is pretty nuts. There was also another smaller grebe species in the harbor as well, a horned grebe. It was pretty shy though, and swam away after I set up on the dock. They are pretty common in the prairies during the breeding season, when they sport a dazzling plumage, like this pair I saw in Saskatchewan. Here's a video I took several days later in Campbell River, showing a better view of its non-breeding plumage. Just look at those red eyes. Swimming by were these 2 double-crested cormorants. Bills in the air, they were seeming a bit stuck up if you ask me. Watching over these birds was a bald eagle, perched high on the ship. We're a bit spoiled in BC. Bald eagles seem a dime a dozen at times, but I always try to take a minute to take them in. They seem like truly angry birds. Or am I unfairly misreading that face? This shot shows the drawback of recording video from a floating dock rolling in the waves. I hope I don't make anyone seasick. I kept exploring the harbor, taking in its sights. One interesting find was this araucaria tree, which are endangered in their native Chile. They are also known as a monkey puzzle tree because their spiky branches are said to puzzle even a monkey. Headed along the walkway at the top of the seawall, I took in the views of the coastal mountains. That's when I heard a flock of black turnstones foraging along the shore. From my vantage up on the seawall, I had a unique view down onto the group. They are a species I've profiled before in my videos, but they are still pretty new to me. I liked how they hop from one rock to another, and also taking time to forage on barnacles. I hope to see their relative, ruddy turnstone, when they pass through on migration in a few months. Next, I descended these steps to check out the beach. There was a group of birds on the waves, and I worked to get a little closer to see what they were. There were a group of red-breasted mergansers hanging out by the ferry terminal. With shaggy mullets, these ducks exude a punk rock attitude. The females seemed a bit annoyed at the male's incessant grooming. Keeping that hairdo immaculate is tough work, I'm sure. But I'm not sure he would have noticed a shark approaching. Along with the mergansers were a couple white-winged scoters. One was a female and the other looked to be an immature male. I've seen white-winged scoter before, but it was hundreds of meters away and through a spotting scope, so it was cool to see one pretty close. Another good-looking duck. The yellow-billed loon was an interesting rarity, and it's always nice to get a lifer, but this scoter might have been the bird of the day for me. Which species was your favorite? Well, that's an account of my birding tour around the harbour. Port McNeil is an interesting place that is worth checking out. I somehow missed the world's largest burl though. Darn it, next time. I hope you enjoyed the video. It was a great day of birding and a nice trip up the island to explore some new roads. Happy birding, everyone.